What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. So you see the title of the broadcast, and it is what it is out here. Listen, look.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Yes, you see the title of the broadcast. And it just is what it is, man. And listen, we're going to dive off into this situation here because things have to be understood here. Apparently, through various structures and various areas and things like that through social media, I found some things that may be a little bit shocking out here, considering what's going on with this deportation situation. So let's go here now. We're about to dive off into a few things here. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
If people care, they pay attention, and they see how many people are not okay with what they're doing right now, I would hope so. So I just really hope it makes a difference.
This was the scene for most of the evening in National City. Droves of people took over much of Highland Avenue, protesting recent immigration policies and actions. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Friday evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I am Wale Aliyu. From the beginning of the demonstration, we were there. ABC 10 News reporter Ava Kirshner watched as the demonstration evolved and took on different forms throughout the night.
The colors red, white, and green have taken over Highland Avenue here in National City in protest to the increase of immigration and customs enforcement across the county. They tell me they want to turn their fear into action and make their voices heard. A peaceful protest quickly growing in size. Highland Avenue being swarmed with people.
I see a lot of youth, which I'm happy to see here, that are out here supporting. I see a lot of families with kids. I see a lot of older people as well.
Most spreading their message proudly.
We're here to speak for the people who cannot speak, and we're here to stand up for the right.
But some breaking out into a fight on Highland Avenue and East 14th Street.
Here we go. Now, these individuals are out here supposed to have a peaceful protest about illegal immigration and deportation and things like that. They don't, what I'm saying, they're against the fact that we are sending, definitely the criminals, back to their home countries and things like that. Now, I know everybody wants to sit around here and say this shit is complicated, but it's really not. If you're over here illegally, then you're here illegally. If you haven't gotten your status approved by the justice system, by the justice system, our government, things like that, then you're over here illegally. It's not that hard to comply with the situation.
Demonstrations like these have been ramping up since President Trump's federal immigration policy threatened to deport undocumented immigrants living in the United States. Trump's border czar saying that those who are undocumented are at risk of deportation even if they do not have a criminal record.
We spent almost every day this week crying, honestly.
Trump's border czar also saying it's all a part of the administration's plan to send a clear message. These protesters say, message received. Throughout the evening, there were fireworks, motorcycles, and an eventual street takeover. Towards the end of the night, the protest was declared unlawful by police. Despite some escalation on Highland Avenue, their voices were heard loud and clear.
It's going to make a difference. I hope so. If people care, they pay attention, and they see how many people are not okay with what they're doing right now, I would hope so.
In National City, I'm Ava Kirshner, ABC.
My question is, why would you want to live in a country that would go against its own law? So my question here is, would it be okay if one of the criminals was to steal something out of one of these people's homes and they just let that criminal go? Would that be okay? So if we're going to go against the laws, okay, let's just, if we're going to go against the laws, we just need to go against all the laws, right?
So what the French toast is there to think about?
I mean, if we're not supposed to enforce the laws of the land, then what are we supposed to do? Okay, so all right, we're going to keep going because yes, there's a shit ton more. We're going to go here now, and we're going to go down to Mexico. Apparently, the situation, there's leftover people in Mexico right now. Did not, because Trump got in office and the shit got canceled. Let's go here now. Let's check this out.
It's been 1 week since these families lost their only legal path into the United States after their asylum requests were canceled as Donald Trump took office. Now, for many, their status in Mexico is also in jeopardy. In Tijuana's largest migrant shelter, the initial shock of the news has given way to confusion and uncertainty, especially for Central and South American asylum seekers. In the absence of official information, it falls on religious leaders to provide hope, comfort, and political context.
These are difficult times for this community. The doors are closed right now, but if we fight a fair battle in the courts, you will see, as we saw 8 years ago, God will open the doors.
Pastor Gustavo Banda's message to his congregation is clear. Don't despair. We've seen this before, and this too shall pass.
Now, I would like to know, what's the fair battle in the court? Our law clearly states nobody could come over here illegally. Nobody could come in over here without going through the port of entry, doing the things that they need to do to become legal citizens in this country. Now, what is a fair fight in the court system?
But waiting here is not without its risks. Guatemalan Yuri is living proof, and she remains too scared to show her face. She and her siblings were kidnapped as they arrived in Tijuana for their CBP-1 appointment last week. They were freed only after a relative in the U.S. paid $9,000 to the kidnappers.
We feel like small birds in a cage. We can't leave this place for fear it will happen again. But also, we can't stay here for much longer because we need to work to help our children back home.
And see, that's the thing that, the Trump administration is trying to stop. This situation right here, all this laundering and people being, taken like that and held hostage for ransom and stuff like that. These are the types of things that are going on the border behind the scenes. Everybody, the administration knows this, and this is what they're saying. Like, allowing these people in also gives the cartels leeway to do this type of stuff right here, take people, hold them for ransom, stuff like that. And if the situation, if it wasn't there for people to come over here like they've been coming over here these past 4 years and stuff like that, then the cartels would have no power to hold people hostage to get over here.
Cancellation of asylum appointments has left tens of thousands in legal limbo here, with some difficult choices ahead. On one hand, if they remain in Mexico without legal status, they won't have access to jobs or other services and could eventually face deportation. But if they claim asylum here, that will likely disqualify them from doing so in the U.S. later on if things change. Many here simply don't have a choice to go back home, facing very real death threats if they return to the places they fled. But others have had enough.
We wanted to do things right according to the law and reunite with our families, but overnight, our dreams became a nightmare.
For now, Jimmy is giving up on seeing his...
Now, he's saying according to the law, but that was a program that the Biden administration had started, the CBP program, where they were flying people in, and the people that actually came across the border at a certain point, they would get certain leeway through said program and stuff like that. But Trump canceled that program because technically that went against our own laws as well. They found the underhanded way to go behind the scenes, start that CBP program, and totally negated our true law of nobody could come over here unless they go through the port of entry, do the things that they're supposed to do to gain citizenship, whatever program that is, and go through it that way.
3 teenage daughters, at least not anytime soon. Instead, he's heading back south, sending what the U.S. government hopes is a message for all would-be migrants against even trying to reach their border. Julia Galliano, Al Jazeera, Tijuana, Mexico.
Okay, so we're going to keep going here because, yes, It's crazy out here. And apparently, you know what I'm saying, like stated, you know, the people in Mexico are actually tired of the illegals that are there. So the people, the citizens are actually fed up and things like that. The natural the natural Mexican citizens are fed up with this situation because it's not just Mexicans that are trying to get across the border. We got Guatemalans, Venezuelans, all types of people that are not of Mexican heritage that are in Mexico right now, stuck there, as you can clearly see with the last segment I just showed you. And they're tired of it. The natural citizens of Mexico are tired of it. Let's go here now.
So apparently the Mexican citizens are already annoyed at the influx of immigration. They're complaining that they're peeing and pooing in the streets. They're worried that their resources are going to get diverted. They're already pissed about having the tent cities. And they're already talking about how can Trump help them close their southern border so they can deport all the people in Mexico even further south and basically just pass the burden on to the next country.
Now, listen, look, that's up to Shineburn.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
That's up to the president of Mexico to actually close her southern borders and things like that. That's up to her to do certain things like that. And obviously, she barely wants to work with America. Now, recently here, word is that she's trying to cooperate a little bit more, just like, you know, others are cooperating, but, you know, are trying to, you know, but that's neither here nor there right now. So we're going to keep going because we got a lot more to dive off into. Let's do this. Let's do this. Real talk. Here we go.
William Lajeunesse shows us how people in Mexico are running out of patience with migrants and why.
It's a huge problem in our neighborhood. The noise, the contamination, the garbage, the violence.
Longtime Mexico City resident Hugo Sanchez, whose child has a heart condition, is fed up with illegal immigrants in Mexico. He's worried the government resources will be diverted to deal with migrants.
Defecan, orinan.
They defecate and urinate in public, says neighbor and retiree Leticia Melendez, who hopes President Trump will help Mexico close its southern border.
He may have some influence with our government, so together they can solve the problem. We can't continue like this.
Wow, hold on.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Hold on. So yes, the citizens of Mexico are tired of the other the illegals that are entering their country. This is amazing. This is amazing. And you know, saying the rest of the Mexican citizens that are over here in America, out there in California, with the first segment I showed you guys, they're protesting out there, even getting in little small fights and shit out there. It's crazy, but they don't even understand that. They don't even see that the citizens that are in Mexico are tired of the illegals too. This is wild, man. Wow. Ooh-wee. Yes.
Francisco Rosas Flores lives near a migrant camp housing mostly Cubans, Haitians, and Venezuelans. He calls the migrant influx an invasion and worries about the drug and alcohol abuse he sees.
We don't know these people, where they come from, if they have a criminal record. Most are unemployed because they don't do anything.
70% of Mexicans call illegal immigration excessive, according to a survey, and 40% want to limit or stop illegal immigration altogether.
Listen, look, hey, they're sick of it too. They're sick of it too down there in Mexico. And see, this is the thing that nobody's talking about on the mainstream situation right here. Even the people in Mexico are sick of these other illegals that are into their country as well. We're going to keep going here. Now, I got more for you guys.
Tensions boiled over in the Mexican border city of Tijuana on Sunday. Hundreds of protesters hitting the streets, demanding that the massive caravan of migrants from Central America leave their country. Some holding signs reading, "Say no to the invasion," and singing the Mexican national anthem. Demonstrators accuse the migrants of causing chaos and breaking the law.
Mexico has always been a nation which opens its doors to anyone who needs it, but there are ways to enter someone's home and ask for support and help.
Don't that sound familiar? Don't that sound familiar out here?
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Wow. Now this is a Mexican city from a Mexican citizen. Excuse me. He's saying the same thing that we're saying over here. There's a legal and a proper way to enter somebody's home. And damn it, these people are not doing it. They're saying they're out there defecating all over the street, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Look at what we got, though. But see, though, it's a little bit different over here because we didn't gave these people's homes to stay in, hotels in New York, Roosevelt hotels, stuff like that. Gave them cards, food, all types of stuff. They're in bodegas leaving $13,000 receipts around and shit. My bad. Hold on. You know, yeah, our government had gave them plenty of money to sit around here and do things and stuff like that and sit on their fat asses all day, not doing anything, sucking up all our resources and spending all our tax money out
And
here.
what the French toast is there to think about?
But Mexico ain't giving them people shit. They let them sleep on the streets. Pay attention.
And attacking authorities and knocking down barricades is not the right way.
Over the past week, nearly 6,000 migrants have poured into Tijuana and another nearby border city. The mayor says he's expecting that number to climb to 10,000. Many in the migrant caravan are from Honduras, fleeing poverty and violence. And they've received some help along the way. At Sunday's demonstration, a handful of activists showed up in support.
A few migrants are causing trouble, but not all of them. There are good people in this group, including women and children.
Over the past week,
sounds like some of our citizens over here in America. Well, there's good people there. We're not saying that there's not good people in the mix. We understand that. But illegal is illegal. And it's that for a reason. You can't go commit a crime, whether it be minor or major, and think that there's not going to be any consequences.
Mexico and the U.S. have stepped up security at the border. President Donald Trump deploying 6,000 troops to the area and suspending asylum for migrants who enter the U.S. illegally. Meanwhile, in Tijuana, authorities have urged the migrants to head to shelters for their own safety.
All right. So, yeah. And that's that at this point. And there's no way around this fact that we're sitting around here and not understanding this. So, all right, we're about to go here now, and we're about to see what this gentleman has to say. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Only 7% of Mexicans support the migrant caravan here. Why? Let's just go here.
Okay, got a lot to say, so I'm going to speak fast. I wish you could slow it down, but maybe you can't. Anyways, so what I'm noticing now, for example, the country to our border, Mexico, right? Only 7% of people in Mexico actually want the migrants to be helped out. Everybody else in that country wants them to be sent back home to their countries. Doesn't want them walking through their countries with their little flags out. And they say that they make a mess everywhere they go. They just throw everything on the floor, and the people that live there have to come by and pick it up. Now that we're hearing that all these migrants are trying to stay in Mexico and they don't belong there, the people are actually like, no, we don't want them eating up all the funds that should come to us. Why are you going to support them and give them a place to be? Why not take care of the people who are here in this country and are suffering?
So, don't that sound familiar? I swear, I don't understand. Hold on. Maybe I'm losing my mind out here. Hold on. I could swear some of this language that I'm showing you guys on these segments and stuff like that in the broadcast sound quite familiar to something that we over here in America are saying. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Remind you of what's happening in our country. It's to the point where in their congressional hearings in Mexico, the people are showing up and they're saying, this is not the House of Congress in Mexico. This is the mafia's house. Why do you guys all live like kings and we don't have enough to eat and we can't support our own families? So because of what's happening in America, you're starting to see that all through Central America. The people themselves are calling out their leaders and saying, you can't get away with your shit no more now, huh? Because it's not Biden over there anymore who's funding everything now. Everything's getting cut off. And those
right. And see what he just said about the people rising up over there, talking to them about living like kings and queens and stuff like that. That's where the cartels come into play. Having that type of dominant control over there in Mexico and things like that. And that's where they're going. And it's a huge problem because the cartels run Mexico. The government does not. I'm sorry, but we just know this is the truth. The cartels run Mexico. Now, I'm not saying that, America doesn't have its own issues with our government as well, because we do. But the thing of this is the cartels run that thing like a damn kid, like a damn playground out there, like kids running the playground.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Those who are speaking against Trump are finding out. You don't play, he don't play. He cuts your funding off like nothing, and he ain't giving it right back. And if he does give it back, it's not what it used to be. It's actually getting reduced because they're going to actually see why they're paying you and what they're giving you the money for and what you're doing with the money.
Right.
It's completely changing the world. That's what I'm starting to notice. It's waking up not only people here in America, but you're starting to see people from all nations start to wake up, and they're rising up to the leadership in their countries. That's the most beautiful thing. Maybe that's just my opinion, though. Sorry, let me slow it down. In my opinion, that's a great thing, I think. And this is my original content. And these are just my thoughts that I'm sharing with people who want to listen. But beautiful things are happening worldwide. I'll continue to try and share them with you guys as long as I can. Make sure you follow me on YouTube and on Snap.
Okay. So this is where we at, though. But you know what I'm saying? We heard what that gentleman had to say about the situation and things like that. Yes. And you see the other parts of the broadcast that I showed you guys in the segments and stuff. Yeah, it is very serious. And this is what's not being talked about. That the Mexican citizens are sick of the illegals as well. They want them out. Now, it's seeming from what this gentleman just said that they're also sharing resources with these, migrants and things like that, these illegals and stuff like that within the Mexico country. But Trump has cut a lot of funding off from the situation. So, yeah, that's making it even more harder on Mexico, which is also hemmed up by the damn cartels.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
It's crazy out there. It's crazy. And this is where we at right here. So, yeah, we're trying to get rid of them. Mexico, the Mexican citizens want them gone as well. So, yeah, man. Yeah. This is where it's at. This is where it's at. Now that the majority of the illegals are stuck in Mexico, Mexico has to deal with that stuff. I hope Scheinberg figures something out. She need to get on board, like what their citizens are saying. They need to get on board with America. Hopefully Trump, they're down there screaming, hopefully Trump can come down here and help us cut off our southern border. Wow. Can't make this shit up. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.